Hey you guys, and welcome to my channel. Let's jump into this, and hopefully this provides some insight for someone, some closure for someone, some education for someone else. All right, more emotional maturity for everyone. All right, and a further understanding of psychology and the human mind. So yeah, some of you have found out the hard way, and then some of you would just know without having to learn the hard way, which is wonderful for you. But narcissists, no, they do not trust anyone. No, no, they don't trust anyone. Them, asking you or entrusting you to do things that would allude to them trusting you, or them taking levels of commitment with you that would allude, in a healthy situation, means that that person trusts you. That doesn't apply to narcissists, because their intentions, their motives, their way of processing things, it's not a healthy person. So, it's going to play out different as to their reasons for doing X, Y, and Z. With that being said, you guys, let's talk about why they have these trust issues and why it's just never going to change. Number one, chances are in their childhood there was something mistrusting in their perceptions, or if it wasn't in their perception, it was just literally the truth or the case that their primary caretaker or, that home setting, there was something mistrusting about that, that they wanted to trust, that they seek to get from that source, either the primary caretaker or something in that environment, and it just dropped the ball. It dropped the ball. And either this literally happened, or it is something that is perceived by the narcissist and they make it their truth. Then chances are, once you feel like your outer world is not, trustworthy, you'll begin to do one or two things. And it's the second thing usually that they're doing, which is, I'll get you before you get me now, or every man for themselves. So either you will feel like you have to take what's rightfully yours by any means necessary, because there's nothing to protect you. There's nothing pure and sincere there to help you. And, everything is tainted and against you. When you have that type of energy, you can decide to deal with it that way. Well, I'm going to take what's mine by any means necessary. Fine. I'll make that adjustment. Now, morality and character, all of that just goes out the door. So a person will either take that type of energy, or they'll take the energy of, I'm going to stop asking for what I deserve. I'm going to give up that right and redefine what I deserve and lower my expectations and my standards and settle, and be a doormat, be a pushover, have no boundaries in that type of way. And that's how, the survivors can be created on the other end of the spectrum. Okay. So, because the narcissists feel like that trust wasn't there when they needed it, and chances are it was reinforced by more experiences. But what I will say about that, hold on, I'm lighting some Palo Santo. I didn't want to burn my fingertips. What I'll say about those additional experiences is eventually it becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy for them, because energetically they're vibrating there. Energetically they are setting the very stage for their own, downfalls at that point, for their own basically sabotaging of the relationships because of their perceptions, and then those perceptions affecting their behaviors and their approaches, right? And then they're doing this over and over. So if it's every man for themselves, I'm going to get you before you get me. I always have to make sure I'm covered because no one else will. There's no trust and love right there. But the backwards thing about that is what they were perceived, just because the love wasn't there basically through those sources. If that's the case, that doesn't mean that love doesn't exist. It just wasn't coming through those sources. It wasn't for you to check out on the notion or give up the hope or belief that, love could be there for them. But this is what's happening. Another angle here is maybe they tried to walk in love at those early childhood years. They tried to give the love, and it wasn't reciprocated. It wasn't received. It was stomped on. It was, taken for granted or not even acknowledged. So that vulnerability taught them that being loving and walking in love made them gullible. It actually ended up making them afraid because they were abused, So then love gets associated with a lot of toxic things in someone's mind who's not processing their experiences or working through their trauma, their inner childhood wounds, right? So now love is stupid, right? Love is stupid. So we're not going to trust love, but we'll trust manipulation. That seems to get me what I want, right? Lies, conning, deceit, being controlling, power hungry, because if I don't take the power, someone's going to overpower me. Pettiness, overkill. This is where the narcissist, they could have just accepted an ending or let a bygone be a bygone. Or, but instead of that, it's an overkill. Like, whoa, like you're going above and beyond, And what it is that triggering inside of them of all the other hurts and pains that they never healed from. Then it's going to certainly feel like an overkill in that current situation because all of it's being taken out on you. All of it, So yeah, they're not going to trust love. They're trusting gaslighting. They're trusting backstabbing. Because like we said, I'm going to get you before you get me. Stealing. That needing to win. Because perhaps they felt like a loser. Or that they were taking losses. So now there's an addiction to winning. And an image. I don't want to look this way. Because if I don't look that way, if I don't appear to look that way, then it's not true. But we know and psychologically, that's a lie. Somebody could be smiling on the outside and crying on the inside. And this is what they can be doing at times. But then, there are cases, honestly, where they're so delusional that they might actually be happy in their ignorance because they've really convinced themselves of the mask. They've really detached themselves. They've really disconnected or, they're out of touch with reality. And it actually can help spare them from feeling the true feelings due to, their ignorance and that lower amount of self-awareness needing to be risen to, be able to understand what it really is. All right, so I really wanted to make this video, you guys, to have this talk so that, I could break this down psychologically. So, they're never going to trust you. They're always going to wonder, why are they being so good to me? What do they really want? And for them to be able to be vulnerable and let their guards down, it's just not going to happen because, they're not vulnerable or even letting their guards down with themselves. And I say this over and over, you guys, but people really can't give what they don't have. They don't. They can make it appear a certain way, but, once you strip back those onion layers, you'll see that they weren't really giving that at all. They just gave the appearance so that they could get what they wanted. Okay? So I hope that this video helps someone understand why narcissists have trust issues. Okay? They don't trust themselves. They see what they're capable of, how their mind works, what they can do. And if they can do it, they'll certainly believe that someone else can do it too. If they're in that energy, they'll certainly believe someone else can be in that energy too, whether you are or not. You know, they're going to put you in the same boat as them enough anyway, to the point where they're not going to trust you. Now, of course, they're going to, you know, the grandiose aspect will make them feel as though, I don't care if they're manipulative, I'm more manipulative. I don't care if they lie, I'm a better liar. They can try this, but I can try it better. So, you know, yes, they'll give these traits to other people and assume that, you know, this is the way of the world, but they will make themselves far more superior and being able to pull this off, one up you, get the last laugh, you know, that's important to them because they're very ego driven. And I've made a video, I think maybe 3 weeks ago, about the narcissist ego, you know, being their downfall. Pride cometh before a fall. Toxic pride. We'll say toxic pride. There's nothing wrong with taking pride. But, you know, it's all in how you're doing this. Okay? All right, you guys. I'm going to stop there on this topic and see you guys in the next video. Until next time, never give up on yourself. Continue to do the work and take care.